Hello everyone, this is Dr. Sanjeev Yadav, Assistant Professor in Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at Government Women Engineering College, Ajmer. Today we are here with a new topic, that is scaling effects in MEMS. Before starting further, we go to the disclaimer. This PPT is used for the teaching purpose and most of the material has been taken from the internet including pictures. The author does not claim any copyright for this material and no legal action is authorized for the same. Now we come to the main topic. As we are studying the MEMS, why miniaturize? Why we are going to make the object smaller and smaller? What is the motivation behind it? Here the motivation behind it is the batch fabrications, means we have to make many devices simultaneously, so lower cost per device will come. Less energy, less material is consumed and it is disposable due to the better recyclable. Array of sensors possible, similar size scales as individual cells, can take advantage of different scaling laws like electrostatic forces. It can break down to macro scale law of physics. And what about the performance? Here the integration with circuitry can reduce noise and it can improve the sensitivity. Because these are very small, so they can easily be integrated in a complete chip, and so that they can improve the sensitivity of the circuitry, and they are reliable and can be improved because of the very less defects due to its size. As we can compare that they are 10 to the power 6 defects per centimeter cube, and here one defect for every 10 to the power 6 micrometer cube. So we can see the comparison here. Now what are the challenges in miniaturization? There are mainly three challenges are there. Harder to interface with the macroscopic world, because the devices are very small, the components are very small, so it is harder to interface with the complete circuitry. Due to the fragilities there, interconnect issues are there. Second one challenge is there, a smaller device requires higher sensitivity to sense a smaller input. For that the chemical sensor, accelerometers, gyros are used. Third is may need to take into account the molecular forces, quantum mechanical effect. All these we have to take into account while making these devices. Now, scaling. What is the need of scaling here? Miniaturizing machines and physical systems is an ongoing effort in human civilization. Means we are just going to make everything small and smaller. And this is the demand of the market, that everything should be intelligent, robust, multifunctional, and low cost. Consumer projects had become stronger than ever. Now you go to the market and everything you want the is smaller. The only solution to produce these consumer products is to package many components into the product, making it necessary to miniaturize each individual components. Means we can take the example of your PC, your TV. We can see that the initially the TV size is very good, your monitor size is very good. Now they are just compacted a TFT screen, very small screen, LED, LCD TVs, because of the miniaturization. Initially we are using the picture tubes, now we are using LED display, LCD display. So the size has been miniaturized. And due to the miniaturization, it is because of the scaling down the device component in size. Why is scaling important for MEMS? MEMS are often greater than 10,000, smaller than macro counterparts. We need to develop new intuition of macro scale phenomenon. Otherwise, different scaling of any property can be big roadblock. Sorry. Now, what are the constraints in life? because of the land-based life contents with gravity at large scale, drying out at a small scale. Water-based life increases ranges by of sizes by evading gravity and drying out. Now the types of scaling laws. There are basically two types of scaling law. First is depends on the size of physical objects, and the second type that involves both the size and material properties of the system. In the first one, scaling in geometry, that is related to the scaling of physical size of objects. Anything we see, any of the component, any device, we see its surface as well as the volume. Only these are the two physical quantities that are frequently involved in designing of anything, either it be macro design or micro design. Volume leads to the mass and weight of the device components, whereas surface is related to the pressure of the buoyant forces in fluid mechanics. Volume relate to both mechanical and thermal inertia. Thermal inertia is measure of how fast we can heat or cool a solid. And surface pumping by using piezoelectric means a practical way of driving fluid flow in capillary contacts. When any physical quantity or physical device is minimized, the design engineer must weigh the magnitudes of possible consequences from the reduction in the both volume and surface of the particular device. Means the designer has to think over the minimizing the volume or weight as well as the surface or surface area. Let us assume that L is the linear dimension of a solid. Now its volume is L cube, as it is written here, volume is proportional to L cube. And the surface is proportional to surface area is proportional to L square. Now the ratio of surface area to the volume is 1 by L, that is L inverse. Means if we are just reducing, it is reducing the 10 times reduction in length. As we are reducing 10 times in the length, means we are reducing L 10 times. It will give 1000 times reduction in volume, as it is L cube 10 to the power 3, that is 1000, and 100 times reduction in surface area. Means if we are just making one size smaller, then its volume is 1000 times smaller and its surface area is 100 times smaller. Now we go through one example here. As the size decreases, its surface area versus to the volume ratio increases. As we can say here, the elephant and a dragonfly. The SYV ratio of an elephant is 10 to the power minus 4 and dragonfly is 10 to the power minus 1. Now both are comparable. Here we have just at the 10 to the power minus 4 and it to the 10 power. Now we can say both are comparable. This is the beauty of miniaturization as well as the beauty of the scaling. We can say that. Now we comes to example. We take a cube of dimension A. Now its surface area is 6a square and its volume is a cube. Now we want to scale it. Now we assume it that the A length of is 10 units, then its surface area will become 600 units square and volume will become 1000 units cube. Now the ratio of volume to surface is 10 by 6. Now if we assume 0.1 unit, then surface area become 0.06 unit square and the volume will become 0.001 units cube. Now the ratio will become 1 by 60. Here it was 10 by 6 and here is 1 by 60. Now what is the significance here? Okay, let's think in the terms of heat storage and heat dissipation. Heat storage is proportional to the volume, means how much the greater the volume is, it's it can store more heat. And heat dissipation is proportional to the surface area, means if the area is greater, the heat can dissipate early, soon. Now we are just comparing the size 10, 1 and zero point 0.1 here in the cube. Dimension A is 10, 1 and zero point 0.1. Now consider the rate of cooling. Rate of cooling, yes, we can say that heat dissipation depends on the surface area. Now we'll think about the surface area. Assume that all the cubes start at same high temperature and allowed to cool the same low temperature. The total heat contained in the smallest cube is 10 lakh times less than the large cube. So the total surface area of the smallest cube is only 10,000 times lesser than the large cube. Therefore, 100 times more heat dissipation per unit volume in the smallest cube. In other words, it will cool as much as faster rate even though all other conditions are same for the cubes. Now we come to the second law, that is we are just going towards the scaling in rigid body dynamics. Scaling in dynamics forces. We all know that S is equal to ut plus half a t square. We have studied in the undergraduate classes as well as in the 10th, 12th. Now we are assuming that the u is v naught is equal to 0, means initial velocity is 0. Then the acceleration will come to be a is equal to 2s by t square. Force is equal to mass into acceleration. Now the force will be, substitute this value here, we'll get F is equal to 2sm by t square. Now as we again substituting those values, that the s, that is the length, or we can say the displacement or distance, that is L, proportional to L. Mass we can say that that is proportional to L cube. T power 4. So the force is proportional to the L ki power 4 into T ki power minus 2. Now the trimmer, he has proposed a unique matrix to represent force scaling with relative parameters of acceleration, time and power density. Now we are assuming that the force, that is L ki power F, is equal to L1, L square, L cube, L ki power 4. Here we can say that that is a, for the acceleration we have just seen that acceleration we can say that is proportional to L into T ki power minus 2, or we can also say that F is equal to me. From here acceleration is equal to F by m. F is L ki power 4, or F we can say that L ki power F, and m is L cube, as we have seen here, L cube, and it is below, so power minus 1. Substituting the value of F from here, L cube here, then we got that the acceleration is L cube minus 2, L to the power minus 1, L cube to the power 0, L to the power 1. Similarly for T, again from the same equation, we can see that we can find out T. T is equal to 2sm by F whole power minus 1 by 2. It is written there. Again, S is L to the power 1, M is L to the power 3, F is L to the power F, and it is below, so L to the power minus F, and whole to the power 0.5. Now substituting these values, we'll get T as L to the power 1.5, L to the power 1, L to the power 0.5, and L to the power 0. This is proposed by the Trimmer. So this is known as the trimmer force scaling vector. And for the power density, similarly, P is equal to W by T, W is equal to F into S. Thus, we are substituting all those values we have substituted, then we got these values for the power density. Now we comes to the scaling in electrostatic forces. The electrical potential energy induced in the parallel plates, as we can see that here U is equal to half CV square. We have studied this formula in the 12th, and then in your UG courses we have studied, and this we can see that minus epsilon R epsilon naught WL by 2D into V square, where V is the voltage, W is the width, and L is the length, and D is the distance between these two parallel plates. The breakdown voltage required to initiate discharge charge for D is greater than 10 micrometer. As we can see that the Paschen's effect, after that it is going to be linear. We can say in this the gap is there, here the breakdown voltage. For the breakdown initial discharge, for the discharging, we can see that D should be greater than 10. Now the V is proportional to L here, L to the power 1. So the U is proportional to the, this is constant L to the power 0, this is L to the power 0, W is L to the power 1, L is L to the power 1, V is proportional to L, then L to the power 1 whole square to the power 2, and D is again the length L to the power 1. Now your U is proportional to L cube. Now if a factor decreases by 10 times in linear dimension, it will decrease the potential energy by a factor of 1000, we can see from here. So that the electric forces, the in the figure we can see that in the same figure we have seen that the FD is there with respect to D. We can see that we are getting this value, and FW we are this force again with respect to W we have differentiated. Now we got this value, and for L, this is along the length. Again, we have differentiated with respect to L. Now we got this value. And all these values, this and this are cancelling out. So we are getting everywhere proportional to the, all the forces are, electrostatic forces are proportional to the L square. Means 10 times reduction in the plate size. It means the 100 times decrease in the induced electrostatic forces. As everything, we have just gone through it. Forces. Now similarly we can just go for the electrostatic charge. If 10 times reduction size, electronic force 10,000 times reduction, and comparison is electrostatic force only 100 times reduction. Now the conclusion is electromagnetic force is less favorably scaled down, that is electromagnetic force. Here we can see that electromagnetic, where electrostatic forces we have seen, here we will see about the electromagnetic forces. U is equal to half phi square by L, then half Li, phi is equal to Li, then half Li square. Again, with respect to x, phi constant, with respect to x, I constant. Again, it is coming to be this one, and here we got that I is proportional to L square, and del L by del x is proportional to L to the power 0. Then F is proportional to the L to the power 4, as we have discussed. Electromagnetic force are 10 to power 4 times reduction. There it was 100 times reduction. Now electromagnetic force is less favorable in scale down than electromagnetic forces. Similarly, we go for the fluid mechanics. Everywhere we can use these scaling methods. Thank you. For any queries, you can just message me or drop your comments.